Yo, what is up guys? XRP is at $1.06 right now on CoinMarketCap. Our first tweet comes from Crypto Barbie. SBI Holdings already is a long-term Ripple partner, XRP Japan. Our next tweet says, boom! Treasury Secretary Bessent calls for Congress to pass crypto market structure legislation before it's too late. Time is scarce and now is the time to act. Massive for crypto and XRP. Let's watch this video.
Your opinion about the importance of having clear rules of the road, market structure legislation in the United States?
Look, I think that it's impossible to proceed without it. We have to get this Clarity Act across the finish line, and any market participants who don't want it should move to El Salvador.
So, as a industry, what is the benefit to having this industry embedded in the U.S. economy?
Well, again, as I said, that there seem to be people who want to live in the U.S. but not have rules for this important industry, and we've got to bring safe, sound, and smart practices and the oversight of the U.S. government, but also allow for the freedom that is crypto. And I think it's a balance that is being worked out. It was worked out in the Genius Act, and I'm confident with leadership.
Smash that subscribe button and hit that like button if you believe XRP will reach $3 again this year. Our next tweet comes from Crypto Barbie. Massive Ripple partner Cross River Bank powers Elon Musk's X money. Our next tweet comes from Bank XRP. Flare founder Hugo Filion just said it out loud. XRP and Ripple were accused of being the banker coin. Now everyone in the entire industry is desperate to be the banker coin. They mocked the vision, now they're copying it. Let's watch this video.
Why was XRP the focus? I think two reasons. One is I've always been interested in XRP. I think their solution for payments has broadly been in the right direction. I think they got unlucky with the regulations, to be honest with you. I think what's hilarious is that most of, when XRP and Ripple kind of started out, they were accused of being, the banker coin. And yet now everyone in the entire industry is desperate to be the banker coin. It's pathetic, really. But, so I think they have a good solution. I think they've always been relatively true to that solution. And I think they have a very vocal community. We were always interested in X.
Our next tweet comes from the Crypto Square. On the road to clarity, Ripple's message has arrived in Washington. The road to crypto clarity is closer than ever. The next move belongs to those inside the Capitol. History could be just one vote away. Our next tweet comes from Ripple. What makes XRP unique? Brad Garlinghouse answers in under a minute. 4 billion transactions, 3 to 5 second settlements, less than a penny each, a community that never stopped believing, a special edition of Crypto in 1 minute. XRP in 1 minute starts now. Let's watch this video.
Hi, I'm Brad Garlinghouse. I'm here for my second Crypto in a Minute here at XRP Las Vegas. So we're doing something special to make it XRP in a minute. I'm Brad Garlinghouse, and I'm back for XRP in a minute. What makes XRP unique? I'm gonna go way back in time and talk about the earliest inventors of XRP Ledger who had been contributors to the core of Bitcoin. And they saw in that an opportunity to build something specialized and specific and unique to really solve a payments problem. And so what makes XRP so unique is its speed, settling transactions in 3 to 5 seconds, its cost, extremely low cost, fractions of a penny per transaction, and its scalability, now having completed over 4 billion transactions. You add in that with a special dash of an incredible community around XRP, what I like to call the XRP family. Sometimes we're going to be the XRP army, depending on what's going on. But you put those things together and you include the longevity of this blockchain, you have something special and unique that is poised for great success in the years ahead.
Our next tweet comes from Ripple Zitty. Just in, SBI VC Trade is now offering the industry's narrowest spread on XRP leverage trading at just 0.5 yen until July 3rd. Our next tweet comes from Stellar Rippler. Brad and Monica Long admitted this on camera about XRP. Ripple is making sure XRP stays as the bridge asset for bridging everything. Payments, fiat, stablecoins, tokenized assets, the works. The plan was always XRP as the neutral backbone of real-world finance. Let's watch this video.
Is there a need for XRP in this mix? Absolutely. We use a mix of assets to serve our payments customers, so including stablecoins as well as XRP. The use case for XRP in particular is as it was envisioned by the original creators of the ledger and of XRP, and that is as a bridge asset for the long tail of currency pairs. And we're talking about tokenization of other types of assets. In the future, when you have new types of assets tokenized on chain, having a really efficient intermediary bridge asset to make, any pair liquid is important. Any pair liquid is important.
In a tweet, XRP sits at the center of everything Ripple does. Can you kind of explain what you meant by that?
Well, I think I don't understand this, but well, first of all, I think we can all agree there's a lot of misinformation and sometimes disinformation in crypto Twitter.
Yeah.
That's not great for anybody. I sometimes think people like to paint a picture that is somehow like Ripple's given up on XRP.
Right.
I mean, that just doesn't make sense. Like, I mean, for a whole bunch of reasons. I mean, one is
Clear it up.
well, for me, that tweet was trying to let's just be very clear. When we think about, and as I said earlier, when we think about G Treasury, okay, so Ripple wants to be as a treasury management infrastructure player, we now can introduce things like Ripple payments. Ripple payments, some of those go through stablecoins, some of them goes through XRP. And that depends upon corridor, that depends upon currency pair, we want to deliver the best possible product to a customer at the best price. And sometimes that may be a stablecoin, sometimes it may not. And frankly, something that's not widely known for your audience, there was a period of time where Ripple was minting in 2023, first part of 2023, Ripple was minting 20% of all USDC. That's because we were doing institutional payment flows and we used USDC. We also used USDT. We also used XRP. I don't look at the world and say, well, we are not XRP maximalists. There's going to be different chains for different solutions and different technologies. I think we have to start, and I mean this when I say I mean the whole crypto industry has to start with what problem and for what customer are we solving? Mm-hmm. If we just try to, it's like, hey, I have a technology and I just want to apply it to a customer. It's like, well, a customer doesn't think about it that way. A customer has a problem. How do we apply the right technologies? Yeah. XRP is very scalable, very fast, and very inexpensive on a per transaction basis. That makes it good for some things and probably less good for other things. That's okay. And Ripple will use other technologies in those situations.
Our next tweet comes from Stellar Rippler. Insane. Ripple executive says XRP can scale for 8 billion people worldwide. This changes everything. The ILP protocol will make XRP the backbone of global finance. Banks are quietly preparing. ILP is the open TCP IP for money routing value packets across any banks, ledgers, or currencies in real time. Created by Ripple, now independently stewarded. Institutions and banks connect their systems, SWIFT, SEPA, Fedwire, etc. via ILP to the XRP ledger. This is how Ripple quietly scales XRP into the new financial system. Trillions in cross-border flows will need it. Brad and David were not kidding. Let's watch this video.
We've configured our technology in a way that really fits the problem of cross-border payment stability very, very well. So for the cross-border payment challenge, we've created an open internet model. We call the idea Interledger. So Interledger, like the internet, supports our Ripple technology globally. And that model does not require a single universal common blockchain. It requires a very open blockchain interconnectivity. And that means that the volume is theoretically infinite. It's like the internet never runs out of capacity. Elements do, but the internet still works because it's inherently decentralized. So Ripple is the same. So we have a decentralized model which is infinitely scalable. Supporting that, we have our liquidity proposition, which uses XRP, and that's the classic blockchain. But XRP was designed from the outset for transacting. So unlike the likes of Bitcoin, which is like very slow and slows down as you continue to build on volume, the XRP model is very, very, very high speed and very high capacity. So the liquidity part is very adequately served by the XRP model. The wider network we're creating, where if you're really going to create something of value for 7 billion people in the world or 9 billion by 2050.
Our next tweet comes from Zave Crypto. Breaking: Ripple is leading the tokenization revolution with over 55 trillion in US assets. Ripe for tokenization, Ripple is set to scale from billions to trillions. This could send XRP to $10,000 plus. Let's watch this video.
Transfer and ownership. If you've ever bought a house, you know that it's very complicated to determine who owns a house. There's a lot of paperwork involved with the sale, recording the sale. There's a risk of fraud in the delivery of the payment and, of course, in being able to prove ownership of the asset. Tokenization can eliminate all those problems by using digital distributed ledgers to track the ownership of assets. That also simplifies things like if you want to borrow against an asset, use the asset for collateral, the person who's providing you the loan can more easily determine that you own the asset. And
Real quick, if this helped, press the like button. It tells YouTube to show this to people who want the truth, not hype. And press the subscribe button if you're done being sold the moon. I've already got your next one right here. Go!